Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Court Cutting TV, Bluford's Tax Preparation, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Casa Samtonieta India Lapa, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, John Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Montzon Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together here on Facebook and on YouTube. Today is Saturday, July 26th. And of course, this is a weekend of experiments. I am away. This is not a live broadcast, but we're premiering it only on YouTube and not on Facebook. Hopefully, if you are watching usually on Facebook, you got my notifications, but we'll be back to being live on Monday, as usual. Now, today will be all about Paul Substack interview. As you may recall, if you watched yesterday's broadcast, it was all about, well, we had some news, but we also talked about Substack, this platform where you can publish your own writing, your content, your videos, and develop a following and dive deeper into the topics that are important to you. So yesterday, we heard about how Pamela Shepard is empowering herself through Substack to keep her memories alive for her children and grandchildren. Paul's use of Substack is completely different. Let's see what Paul is about, and I'll come back after the interview. Hello. In a separate interview, we had a chance to sit down with our friend Pamela, who told us about her adventure with Substack. And now I'm sitting with my dear friend Paul Crist, who's going to tell us about his adventure with Substack. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great, thank you.
What's the latest and greatest?
Oh, well, I just got back from the United States, where I was overwhelmed with,
Being in the
United States, and I'm loving being back in Puerto Vallarta just today.
Oh, yeah, back today.
I got back last night.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So that's lovely and new.
I think it's wonderful that you're back, and I think it's wonderful that you're writing on Substack, because you've been a very prolific writer for a long time.
Yes.
With strong ideas.
Yes, I'm not for everyone. I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
But hey, welcome. Coffee and Headlines is not for everyone, and I'm definitely not everyone's cup of tea. But let's actually backtrack for a second.
Okay.
What is Substack to you?
Substack is an outlet for me where I can write in more depth and detail than I can write and communicate on, other social media, for me particularly Facebook. But, I find that, social media like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, you can't really go into detail. I find when I write long, detailed posts on Facebook, for example, I don't get a lot of interaction. I don't get a lot of likes unless there's a sexy photo attached to it. That's always popular. Substack allows me to go more in depth. I think that it has a different audience than does, your standard social media. And I think it is an audience that is more interested in a deeper dive, even than they're going to get on, CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or whatever. It's, because there you get headlines and you get news that has been curated by, somebody in the head office, about, what's going to sell. The same thing is really true on social media. It's very curated by the algorithms. And we can talk about this later, but the algorithms on Substack are different. And so for me, it's a platform that allows me to reach readers that are interested in what I have to say and in knowing a little more deeply about the topics that I'm interested in and that I write about. And for me as a writer, it has always been, well, I think that writers are also teachers.
Oh, without a doubt.
And I am a teacher deep in my soul. And writing is a way of teaching for me. And I want to make sure that my students, readers,
Of course.
actually, get a full picture so that they can not only develop an opinion of their own, but also articulate that opinion to others. And so that's what, for me, makes writing on Substack, for me, it's an ideal platform.
Interesting. You may or may not know this, but there is another platform called Medium.
Oh, yes.
And as I'm hearing you talk about Substack, and as I'm realizing that there are all these anchor people and news people and influencing people, yes, influencers, but people that have been involved in mainstream media are gravitating to Substack. And this makes me wonder, I wonder what is it about Substack that has detonated, and I wonder if Medium is still as relevant or if it's similar or different. I don't know if you did a lot of research between the two platforms.
I actually wrote a few articles a few years ago on Medium, and I was, a subscriber on Medium, and there is some good writing on Medium. I think for whatever reason, it's not as relevant as it was in its earlier years. I do think, as you say, a lot of the former television news journalists and reporters from the major newspapers are now gravitating towards Substack rather than Medium. I think part of it is that Medium, I don't know, maybe it's not as well organized as a platform. Maybe it's a little more jumbled and not as as smooth a user interface.
Or maybe,
think.
I'm not completely well versed on either. I've read on Medium. At some point, I thought, should I be writing on Medium or not? I've gone through other outlets. I felt the same way about Substack, particularly the monetizing option. I thought to myself, well, should I be writing on Substack? But for me, the monetization aspect of it, I already have it in place through Buy Me a Coffee, which at the end of the day is another platform which allows you to get something back from what you're putting out there.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that you can set up your Substack if you're a content creator on Substack, that you can pair your Buy Me a Coffee to Substack.
Oh, don't give me more ideas. Don't give me.
There you go.
And then here's a challenge with these kinds of platforms. I don't know about you, but I'm becoming an old lady in a sense that I wake up and I wish everything that I need to get my job and my day and my work done came on a single tray. And that tray had all the information that I need to do what I have to do.
Um, I remember when I started Coffee and Headlines. Well, I started on Facebook, and I was reluctant to branch out to YouTube because I figured, well, I don't know if anybody's going to watch me on YouTube. And now I get watched on YouTube. So, what I'm getting at in a very awkward way, I might say, it's the heat. It's the heat. It's a Puerto Vallarta heat. But what I'm getting at is, you know, when you have to get your videos from YouTube and your interesting writing from Substack and your gossip from Facebook and your crazy things from TikTok, are we going against our nature to want to have everything in one comfortable tray?
Yes, this is the 21st century, and
It's a century of zero attention.
and we're way
span.
beyond our human nature to get everything like you want.
Yes,
And I don't think that it's possible to do that.
of course not.
But I will say, now here's the thing about Substack is that, it is, I would say, a majority of the content on Substack is written, but more and more is video.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's more and more video. And not only that, and this is particularly true of, say, the TV news broadcasters like Mehdi Hassan or Jim Acosta, people that have been on television news. They're doing live interviews and live broadcasts.
Oh, wow.
And then those broadcasts are also saved so you can watch them later. But you can set up you become a subscriber on Substack to listen or read or whatever. You're not necessarily a creator, but you can set that up so that you get a notice that Jim Acosta is live on Substack, etc., at this moment or whatever. And well, I'm busy right now, but you can go back and watch that later.
Oh, wow.
And the other thing that you mentioned is that a lot of the content creators who are doing videos now on Substack, they're doing the same. They're putting the same interview or video publication on YouTube.
Ooh.
So there's getting to be a fair amount of crossover, and that's one way, because you can monetize on Substack and you can monetize on YouTube. So, for example, let me think. Alan Krugman, who's Paul Krugman, I'm sorry, who's like a Nobel laureate economist. I catch him sometimes on Substack, and sometimes I catch him on YouTube.
Interesting. My goodness. And you're going to give me homework, whether you intended to or not. I've been like, no more platforms for me, but maybe I have to look into this. Now, Pamela was just here, and she told us that she's writing about her life in the Northwest. She told us that she started writing to have a memory for her grandchildren and so forth and so on. What are you writing about?
My writing is much more technical. I have written on really technical. I did a long essay on advanced nuclear power, which is not your grandfather's nuclear power plant. It's much safer, and I advocate that advanced nuclear, which doesn't even use uranium, is a good alternative for future carbon-free baseload electricity generation. But I have written deeply on the Ukraine war, where I go into the history of the relationship between Russia and Ukraine, and that predates 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea. I've written on the Trump administration freezing medical research grants to the National Institutes of Health. I write on issues of interest to me. They're always current issues, issues that are in the news, but issues that you probably, the most people probably don't know the history of or don't know the background. And so this is why I say that I want to teach, and I want that my readers can talk intelligently and make their own arguments and develop their own opinions based on facts.
Of course.
So I write on, just a ton of different things. A lot of it is political. I will not deny the fact that my writing has a political slant to it. I am not a conservative.
You're a person with an opinion.
I am an opinion, and my opinion is clear in my writing, and that's just who I am, and I couldn't write any other way.
I don't think anybody would want anything other than that from you or from anyone. I think, and I think about this a lot when I'm doing Coffee and Headlines. And when I do Coffee and Headlines, it's the person that I am. And you and I go back. We've had a friendship for 23 years. If I was any different from in real life than the person that I portray every morning at 10:30 in the morning on Facebook or YouTube, here's your opportunity to say that I'm different.
Yes.
I am. No, you're supposed to say you're not. I'm the same person.
Oh no, you are the same person.
Thank you.
You're not, but you are different. You offer something that nobody else offers. In this market, for the people who love PV, who don't speak Spanish, and don't know what's going on, in local happenings or politics or culture, you're different in that way.
Well, I appreciate the flower. Thank you very much. But the point that I'm trying to make is I think we all crave some authenticity. We all crave some authenticity. We all crave a viewpoint that is not volatile, which can only be possible if the people expressing the viewpoints have big, big avocados.
Yes.
If you catch my drift.
Yes.
Do you guys know that the Spanish word for avocado is aguacate? And do you guys know that the word aguacate comes from the Nahuatl, which means balls?
Yes.
And speaking of balls, what?
At my age, small.
No, that's not where I was going. But we can talk about that after we're done recording this. What have been the rewards for you in empowering yourself to write and hopefully empowering others to read?
Really, the reward for me is learning. I am a lifelong learner, and I mean, it is my passion. And so there is nothing I love more than having the time, and that's always the challenge, having the time to delve deeply into, a topic that I'm interested in. And I think the reward for my readers, and I don't have a huge number of readers. I think, I don't know, I probably have less than 100. But I'm not looking for, 5,000 followers or readers that I have. I have more than 5,000 on Facebook or something. But this is a different thing. So I don't need like huge numbers. That's not for me what is, killing it for me on Substack. I feel like the readers that follow me on Substack are kindred souls, maybe you could say, that they're people who want the backstory, the deeper story, the the history, the the facts that you don't get everywhere. Because sometimes I will spend a week or more researching an essay, but I love doing that. And the reward for me is the doing it itself.
Well, you could have, if I had known that you were going to say all of this, you could have been the perfect spokesperson for me to promote my music appreciation presentations, because I too, and maybe that's why we're good friends, Paul,
I think
because I am a lifelong learner. I don't have a huge audience. I mean, the people that come to my wonderful music appreciations, which happen on Thursday afternoons right here.
tomorrow.
Motown. No, like, no, here's the point. At the end of the day, if I get one or two people that show up, that's lovely. But will I lose sleep because more people didn't come? No, because I had to do the research, and it took me a while, and evolve my level of knowledge and expertise on a particular topic.
Exactly.
And it actually keeps my brain cells alive,
Yes.
which is fundamental.
Yes. And not focused on negative things, which we all can fall into sometimes.
Oh my goodness, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. Paul, what are we missing? We're going to be flashing the URL for your Substack page, but are we missing anything here that you want to touch base on?
Maybe I mentioned the Substack algorithm briefly earlier on, and I think I think a lot of people who understand that these social media algorithms, like, they're just collecting your information and they're selling it to everybody. And so, you can accidentally click a Facebook ad, and the next thing you know, you're getting emails,
That's
for the same product.
yes.
This doesn't happen on Substack.
Oh, that's good to know.
Substack has an algorithm, but it is an algorithm that will analyze what you're reading and who you're following and that. And the only thing it does is recommend other Substack content creators, writers, videographers, news personalities. If your thing is, pop culture, whatever it is, and there's a ton of stuff. It was way more than what my little niche on Substack, but it will only recommend to you other Substack content creators that you might like to follow. And then you can take that recommendation and follow that person, or check out their Substack and decide to follow or not. So it's not an algorithm that is going to sell your data. So it's a completely different kind of algorithm that's enclosed. So I would say to your audience today that you can join Substack, search for topics that interest you, look at creators and articles and videos in that topic, follow them or not, but it doesn't go outside of Substack.
That's good.
So you can feel safer
Excellent.
on Substack. And that, to me, is also extremely, extremely important.
Well, Paul, this has been so inspiring, between hearing you talk about this and hearing Pamela talk about her adventures with the same platform. And your adventures are completely different. But at the end of the day, we could all benefit from staying curious, for those of us that like to read, and we could all benefit from expressing whatever is important to us. And Substack seems to be like a great platform to do that.
I agree. I enjoy it a lot. And thank you. Thank you for inviting me to
Thank you so much
participate in with.
for bringing this news to to not only my attention, but also to all the readers. There you have it, friends. Please feel free to follow Paul and feel free to follow Pamela. And thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Paul's Substack interview. I hope this will spark some curiosity for you to follow him, follow Pamela, and maybe get your own platform on Substack. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you so much for indulging me 2 days off. And I will see you back here live on Monday morning with more comment, more stories, and more coffee. Have a good day.